What is cracking, viewers? It's Alex, and yeah, this is gonna be a pretty serious video. I haven't done one of these, but I think this is just something so annoying that I think it needs more exposure. A friend of mine, I'll give a quick context, a friend of mine has a girlfriend who has been getting stalked, messaged up the ass, and just generally harassed to talk, even though she really doesn't want to, by this guy right on Discord. Her name is Laika. I will not be giving her full YouTube name. I will just be calling her Laika. But this is pretty freaking serious, and I need to get this conversation out to the public, no matter what, because this is just insane. Because this has been going on for months, and right now I think it's pretty much reached my boiling point where I'm just like, you know what, I give up. This is pretty much the last thing I'm going to do involving this guy. It started as a conversation. He just randomly sent me a friend request, and I decided, well, this might be my last chance to try and actually talk with him. So I tried to remain calm throughout the entire conversation. Right here, I was telling him for like the 500th time to stop making videos addressing her, stop trying to talk to her, and then he just says he's pissed off. Which I say, yeah, I completely understand. I can only imagine how it feels being rejected. Which I should have been a little more clear there. I have been rejected before. But I'll get into that later because I did bring it up during the conversation. He then goes to bring up something that I have no fucking clue what he is talking about. As you can clearly see, like, I really don't know what the catfishing and blackmailing for this Lynta Jackson girl has to do with anything. Like, this is just an entirely different problem. This is not what I wanted to talk to him about at all. And he even admits that this has nothing to do with Laika. It then loops over to pretty much how the conversations went every single time. He says he misses Laika, he just wants people to understand. And I have said, and I proceed to repeat for the, like, 50,000th time, that we do understand that he misses her. He has definitely made that perfectly clear in a way that's definitely not recommended, but, you know, that's beside the case. I then tell her that he has to move on no matter what. And that he's being blocked because of all the alternate accounts and constant spam of everything she's on. Messenger, maybe Twitter, YouTube, DeviantArt, fucking everything has been spammed by this guy. And he repeats that he's just asking her to talk to him. He has said this several times, but I do think it's worth bringing up here. And here I assume he wants to talk to her just so he can apologize. And then I just say, hey, just do it in one comment and then call it a day. Stop fucking trying to message her. Stop making videos addressing her. Just cut all ties with her. Like, and then he just repeats that he wants to fix it, and he doesn't want her to block him. And here I come to the conclusion that he just wants to get with her again, which is a complete lost cause, a marathon without a finish, a gladiator battle without a prize. Just, he is going way too far for something that he won't even manage to... What's the word? That he won't even manage to successfully do. And he says he's mad because everyone won't listen. And I'd say that's because he's been saying the same things over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. Like fucking Bubsy or some shit. Like, we tell him he needs to stop. Like, we tell him he needs to stop, and we tell him exactly why, and then he's just like, I love her, I just want to talk. And because of this, he's pretty much digging his own grave, as I've said in the message. And as you can see, he started doing it again. Like, he started saying the same thing again. And he says something about moving on, and I have told him that he has not moved on, and what exactly that means. By the way, what I mean by still posting art about them, he's putting it up on DeviantArt, and some of it is pretty frickin' raunchy, not gonna lie. He's put up some NSFW. Now, granted, it was drawn by the girlfriend, but she probably deleted those pics from her hard drive as soon as they broke up. He, on the other hand, kept them like the creep he is. He then repeats that he loves her again, and he says he understands. And then I say, if you understand, then you should stop trying to contact her. And he asks why he should move on, and then I say, well, obviously it's the best for both you and her, because she's been in quite the bad depression since this whole thing has been going on. He says he doesn't want to move on, and then I say, yeah, you have to do many things in life you don't want to do. I've done several things in my life that I didn't want to do. Going to school, letting one of my dogs be put to sleep. Sometimes, whether you want to do something or not doesn't matter. And he says, why can't anyone understand? And I'm like, oh, I completely understand. Because it did happen to me. I had a crush in school once. I actually had two. But the first one was, well, I'm referring to the second one. I'm referring to the second one for this one. The first one, I was just a complete klutz, because I was still pretty young at the time. But I was heartbroken, just like he was. And I was pretty insane when I went home. But then after a little bit of crying and some insanity later, I then came to the conclusion that it was her decision. It was ultimately her decision. And I just moved on, let her live how she wanted. And I did get myself an online girlfriend. And we do have mutual feelings for each other, though. Oh. We have video called, so don't worry about me getting, like, cyber-stalked or anything like that. And I tell him he just has to own up to his mistakes by stopping making the videos and not trying to contact her. He then repeats that he doesn't want to move on, and I say that I understand, and I didn't want to move on either after I was rejected, which is totally normal. That's totally normal after a rejection. I am not gonna give him flack for that. But then he says, why can't she understand that what she did broke me? And I'm just like, oh, come on, man. If you feel like you're permanently broken because of one singular rejection, just seek therapy or talk to your parents, something like that. Because that's not healthy. It might be normal, but it's not healthy for one's mental psyche. I then say that he's not going to get everything he wants in life, and that he has to accept that she doesn't want to hear anything from him. I then repeat that he should leave an apology in a singular comment, and then not acknowledge or contact her ever again. He then starts bullshitting to try to get me on his side. And he says that her boyfriend at the time, her current boyfriend, by the way, Joshua. You've probably seen him in my latest AlexworldPlays video. I then point out that not only is he going off topic, but he's believing rumors. And then he says he can't get over her, even though he hasn't tried. I can tell because there are so many fucking posts and everything. And then he says he talked to one of her friend's sister. Another name you probably recognize if you watched my AlexworldPlays. And I'm pretty sure that this is a lie, but either way, it gets us nowhere because we've come full circle again. I then repeat that we understand. I then repeat that we do understand. He then says, because someone told him it's normal, which it is. The key is trying to get over it, which he is not trying in the slightest to do. And this is pretty much where I realize he was bullshitting. And he says many of her friends and other people to tell him it's fine and to keep trying. This is a complete lie, since all of her friends that he's talked to are just have told him to give up, just like I have. And the people who do support him in the comments of his videos are not her friends, and are either white knights, or they just don't know the full context, nor care. He then says that only some people, and I'm like, yeah, you can't make judgments based on that. He then asks how this is affecting us, and I say that it's hurting her, his beloved, immeasurably. And she's fallen into a bad depression. I think she's mostly recovered from it, but this is still going on, and it's still fucking insane. And my friend group almost split thanks to his shenanigans. And he then repeats that he keeps telling all of us whatever the fuck he means. And then I say that nobody cares if he wants to move on or not. He has to. Therapist would say this. If I have any trained therapists in the comments, I highly doubt it, but if I have any trained therapists watching this video, I'll leave a comment saying, would you say that? Yeah, I then say, hey, that, yeah, he's fighting an uphill battle for that he can't win. And then he says I'm lying about understanding, which I then clarify that I am not, because as I've told him earlier, I have been rejected before. The difference is that I learned. He then says he doesn't care because is his first love. And I'm like, yeah, first loves don't really work out most of the time. And tell him that he's living a fantasy where he thinks he's fallen in love. So it's just meant to be because it was the first person he truly loved. That's not how this works. That's not how that works in the real world. I then bring up first times for certain things. In this case, some cases gaming, like how you suck at games at first, playing enough in training get you much better. Like how I used to be able to pretty much not even complete the terrace in Super Mario Galaxy, but now I can 100% that game like it's nothing. Socializing, always awkward at first. That's one thing school is for, besides learning about different subjects, but that's another story. And then electronic wiring, which is confusing as hell at first. And then once you realize how to hook up a system and tamper with enough motherboards, it's pretty simple when you actually get it down. Love is no different from this. He then repeats that I wouldn't understand or even care, even though I have clearly shown that I do. Then he repeats that he is not moving on from her. And then he just up and fucking blocks me. Like, the audacity of him, after everything I said, to claim that I don't understand or care about his plight, then just block me. Like, this guy is fucking... Something needs to be done, like, as soon as possible. This is the very last thing I'm gonna try to do with him, because I cannot push him in the right direction at all. I've been trying for a long time, and I've gotten absolutely nowhere. This is my last-ditch effort. This is my last thing that I'm doing with this guy, and just getting the word out. I had to make sure this conversation was logged, so that it could actually be realized just how fucking insane this whole thing has gotten. I'm pretty sure Joshua has a community post on like YouTube or something, which has a link to every single one of his comments that he's made over the years. I'm gonna link that in the comments. But actually no, I'm gonna link that in the description, not the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this video, so thanks for listening if you have made it all the way this far. This has been Alex of Alex World, and please don't be like this guy. Alex out.